Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you guys are well, wherever it is that you may be around the world. We have got transfers to speak on. Sorry about yesterday. I am really sorry about yesterday. I do not know what happened. My internet went, my camera went, my laptop went all funny. Everything just didn't work yesterday, but we are going to kind of reverse back to yesterday's show, just to speak on it a little bit. See, just quick thoughts on that. Quick player rating, and then we're going straight into the transfer news. We are opening up the lines today as well to give you guys the opportunity to get involved. I want to know your thoughts and feelings on the links to Chelsea. What do you feel is the most important thing that needs to be sorted in the squad from what you've seen up to this point in the first couple of games as well? So much to go through. We've got Leao to talk about. We've got Gordon to talk about. We've got Aubameyang to talk about. You know, we've got quite a bit to go through on top of that. But like I said, player ratings quickly. I know it's a little bit late, but player ratings first. We've got to get through them player ratings, talk a little bit about how we were playing, and then we will fall straight into the transfer show and start talking about why are we buying these players based upon what we saw against Leeds as well. But make sure that you're smashing the likes, guys. Get these likes up, subscribe. Lines will be open soon as well. We'll probably be doing a 2-hour show today. So strap up, get yourself some drinks, get yourself some food, get yourselves cozy, and let's cue that in. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you guys are well. Let's try and get both these channels over 200 likes today, guys. Let's make sure if you haven't hit that thumb, hit the thumb now on both GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Yesterday, unfortunately, I got cut up. I only got 20 minutes, didn't I, to take the show off completely. Sorry about that. I am sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but, you know, I'm back and we're here. And I want to just kind of reverse quickly before we get into the transfer talk, which we are going to be talking about. Just want to just quickly reverse back to what we was talking about quickly yesterday. And we were talking about the performance between Leeds and Chelsea. It was demoralising. It was poor. It was pathetic. And we were let down by individual errors. We were let down by the lack of our forward line taking their opportunities. I think people forget how we had good chances in that first half hour, 40 minutes of that game. Sorry, first 20 minutes of that game with Sterling, Ruben and Mason Mount. Didn't take their chances. And ultimately, we ended up getting punished with a lack of concentration from Mendy. But then it was the response. And the response wasn't good enough. And why Chelsea are maybe rushing around to find players maybe some with experience, some maybe that aren't, is that not only do we need the squad depth, but we also need the option. And yesterday, again, players that we've seen last season playing in positions that we know can play good to a certain level, letting the team down. You know, the inconsistency in their performances is not good enough at Chelsea. It just is not good enough. Big up to everyone in the chat. RD, nice to see you. Sosa, Daniel, Elias, big up to you, man. Let's not talk about Liverpool, Gem. Now, let's not talk about how bad they were yesterday. How funny is it that we were all slating Man United for how bad this season is, but now Man United have got more points than Liverpool this season already. They've got 3 points. And Liverpool have only got 2. So, yeah, it's funny stuff. Big up to Alfred in the house. Nice to see you. Chelsea OG, nice to see you, bro. I hope you are well. Big up to Chelsea Database as well. Couch Critics is lateness is lateness. What lateness is greatness is what it should be. Not lateness is lateness. Miles CFC, nice to see you as well. I see the Havertz scarf. Yeah, I got that down at the bridge. I did manage to get a ticket to the Liverpool game on September the 18th, which I'm looking forward to as well. Which I'm definitely... Madge, nice to see you, man. Sorry, mate. Sorry, I know people have been asking me, where you been, what you doing? You've not been talking much. We want to know what your thoughts are on Chelsea, blah, blah, blah. I know. I'm sorry. I've just been a bit here, there and everywhere. But Chelsea's social Twitter has been moving mad recently. Absolutely mad as well. Like, people are arguing about Tuchel in, Tuchel out, Bowley in, Bowley out, Havertz in, Havertz out, Mount's crap, Jorginho's crap, Ruben Loftus-Cheek's crap. Like, you know, it's funny how we have such a huge meltdown after a loss. Don't get me wrong. I kind of get some of it, some of the points why people are frustrated. I was one of them people. But 3 games in, I think we need to calm down a bit. We've won 1, we've lost 1, and we've drew 1 as well. So, you know, it could be worse. Big up to Andreas in the house. Nice to see you. He wants Ruben Neves to Chelsea. And people are still feeling that the central midfield area is something that's key and important. When you look at the players that Chelsea have been linked to or looking to bring in, there ain't no real talks about midfielders. It's forward line, it's defence, it's now right wingers, wing back options. It's very interesting. Kukurea and Sterling for everyone is 2.5. Yeah, well, we're going to get into that. Harry, big up to you. Sherwin, big up to you. Danny, nice to see you, bro. Big up to you, man. I hope you're well. Jonas, nice to see you. Chelsea OG. Get the likes up, man. Do what the guy says. Get them likes up. Hit the thumb if you haven't already. Shaq, big up to you. Chelsea boy. Brigai. Aldane. Artrav. How you doing, man? Richard, nice to see you, mate. Javi. Beautiful game as always in the chat. Big up to you. Nick Saunders and Sosa is in the house. All right, look, let's just quickly, like I said, reverse back to yesterday. We'll be very quick with this, and then we will be getting into the transfer news, which we will be going through very, very shortly. But when we look at yesterday's game, it wasn't yesterday's game. When we look at the weekend game, shall I say, 3-0 battering, absolute battering. Koulibaly got sent off. Rodrigo, Harrison, Aronson with the goals. 39% possession to the 60%. Total shots on goal was 14 to their 12. Chelsea only managed to log 3 shots on target out of 14 in the game. And to be honest, when you think about the game overall, I thought Leeds had the better chances. They were the better team. They made more for themselves. They looked more. They made the chances that they created were more dangerous than what Chelsea created. Maybe barring the Sterling chance. People can probably agree on that one or disagree, Passing 82%. We know Chelsea are good at keeping the ball. Tackle possession weight, we were not good. We won all of our aerial duels, which is interesting because we conceded a goal to one. We committed enough the same fouls as well. We got 1 yellow card and 1 red card. And we ended up getting stuffed. We beat them 3-0 last year. They kind of gave us one ourselves with a 3-0 loss as well. But let's quickly fly into the player ratings, and we're going to get into the transfers. Don't worry, that is the next thing we're going to do. But I want you guys in the chat to get involved. Over 200 of you guys combined in the chat already. Nice to see every single one of you guys. Please share on your socials as well. Let's let people know that GNA TV is live and Chelsea Fan TV is live as we speak. Oh, interesting stuff. All right. We can go to that Chelsea database. Thank you very much, mate. We can use that. Before we jump into that, we've got Chelsea database in the chat. He's just sent me over a tweet of like a sort of breakdown of the game. I've also got some other messages here. 1 second in my inbox. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look what Chelsea database has sent us. So he's given us sort of a little breakdown of the game overall, a quick thread of the Leeds versus Chelsea game, but a tactical analysis and post-match data as well. A thread, what went wrong, also available to read and listen to, which you can also go and check out. Make sure you check him out as well, Chelsea database on Twitter. I'll tell you, I like this guy. He brings out some decent information, man. Brings out some decent information. Let's start. Right, so he's put an image of the scoring. Should we say? Let me get back a bit. It's the image of the score ratings, which we're going to do. Out of all of that, Mason Mount got a 7.1, Kukurea was 7.2, Reece James. But then when you look at the percentage, obviously passes, we had more passes. The pass accuracy was 81% to their 71% as well. We had more corners than them. Their XG, look at their XG, man. Look at Leeds' XG compared to Chelsea. Are you mad? Are you mad? How embarrassing is that? 2.21 to our 0.69. And we had 14 shots with only 3 on target. Are you mad? That is embarrassing, man. That is shocking. Absolutely shocking. So big up to Chelsea database for that bit of info. We're going to scroll down through his threads quickly. So he's saying the passing network shows that Chelsea wasn't really dominant in possession, even though the stats say it. And this is why I say to people, stats, and eye test are equally as important. They are equally as important. You can't look at the stats and think someone's had a great game overall in 90 minutes. You have to watch and you have to look at the stats. Saying passing network shows that Chelsea wasn't really dominant in possession and pinning Leeds in their defensive third despite having 61% overall possession. Leeds press very well. Press us very well, causing a midfield battle. Well, I ain't going to sit here and start trying to explain these graphs because looking at them, it's hard for me to I get what he's saying in terms of what where the attack came from, left to right. From the Leeds side, it majority came down from their left with 39%. On the Chelsea side, we played more through the middle of the pitch than we did through the sides, from what I'm understanding from that. Leeds, yeah, and then there's some more bits there, but Chelsea used the flanks to attack the wing back as our creative outlet. Then the middle. Only 11 attacks came through the middle compared to 39 from the flanks. The middle accumulated the most XG. Leeds attacked mainly on the left. Tuchel set up with his hybrid 3-5-2/4-2-2 formation he used against Spurs last week. Ruben Loftus-Cheek moved into the midfield to create a box to overload Leeds' three centre mids. Reece became right back, and Jesse Marsh's lineup in their usual 4-2-3-1. And when you look at how we originally set up in that first half, it was a standard 3-4-3, like I said, against Chelsea, with Mount sort of sitting behind and Havertz and Sterling leading the line. And then it switches where our wing backs are pushed further up the pitch, holding the width. And then you had Conor Gallagher, Ruben Loftus-Cheek close to each other, Jorginho and Mount close to each other, with Sterling and Havertz through the middle. And that's when we were trying to call overloads in the midfield. It was like we were trying to break them down through the middle and then use Reece James and Cucurella as the free person to play the ball over the top. We can visual the tactical formation set up using data to see where each player controlled the game in and out of control, in and out of possession. So interesting stuff there. Lots of little graphs that he put up there as well. Then he's saying straightforward individual by Mendy again. However, Reece or Cucurella could have also quickly dropped back as soon as Silva pressed. As soon as Silva passes back to Mendy to provide two passing options. So he's got the ball there. He's got a lot of time. We can see it, right? Was it Aronson that won the ball? I think it was Aronson. So Aronson is quite far away from Mendy at the time. And when you think about the positions of Cucurella and Reece James, look at Reece James' his arm. He's kind of pointing to say, look, play it up the pitch, get it up the pitch. You know, he hasn't made that decision because ultimately, by the looks of it, Tuchel's his answer is to make sure that we play it from the back in many occasions. But I do feel that if you're under pressure, that in moments where you just got to use a bit of the initiative, he should be just getting rid of it. It should just be a straight kick up the pitch, move, and you get on with it. He didn't do that, and he tried to be clever, and he ended up getting caught. Because see, another set piece, we had all our tall players defending the back post against their tall players. Harrison was able to pick out Rodrigo as he made a good run to the near post, getting in between Reece and Gallagher, which is a weak spot when you think about it. Reece is obviously marking here. Gallagher's ball watching, and the ball comes over Gallagher's head, and we know what happens after that. The game was 50-50. Look out at the Leeds pressing intensity graph. They were really coming for us and didn't allow us to have time and space to control the game. Even after scoring two, they matched our press levels. They did, and they outrun us by 10 kilometres in the game. And it's a very good example when you look at how Newcastle played against Man City, and they only got a draw. But the work effort, to win the ball back higher, and they pressed well in that game. It was exactly what Leeds did to Chelsea. And we weren't good enough to beat the press. Let's be serious. Tuchel switched it up at half-time, moved into a traditional back four and not a free back four hybrid. Ruben Loftus-Cheek moved into a pivot, and Gallagher played as wide right attacking midfielder, as we saw. Koulibaly and Silva were sitting, and we played obviously the two at the back, the two at the back, Reece James and Cucurella higher up the pitch, with Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho sort of the guys that are sitting in front of them. And what we tried to do was overload the middle, and I just don't think it worked, However, left us exposed on transition. We do not have the DM and other centre-back that can cover all the ground and stop the counter. This led to the third goal. Leeds are quick and vertically direct in their transition. Reece was up the pitch. The ball gets played in behind, and James is running wide to put the ball into the box. He's well too out of the pitch. Look at Reece James's position there. Look at Jorginho's position there. The ball comes in. Look how unorganised we are. Look how unorganised we are. But then again, you still feel that we maybe could have dealt with it defensively better there. I don't even want to look at the shooting map, because what is it to say? Chelsea's best effort on goal was a shot in the first minute by Sterling. That was our best effort. The first minute when Sterling took that shot was our best effort the whole game. Look how bad There was also that chance where Ruben Loftus-Cheek, which he hesitated. Yes, he did. Chelsea made more key passes in the second half, whilst Leeds made more key passes in the first. Koulibaly was our most progressive passer, while Sterling progressed the ball through the carries, which is what you expect, But Koulibaly was our most progressive. Chelsea used the left side mainly, which you already know. Chelsea overall were better round duels. I checked that as well. Gallagher also very good in his duels. Havertz was not very good in winning his duels and losing a lot of his aerial duels for someone who's 6'3". And something that becomes a criticism of Kai Havertz is that he doesn't, as big as he is in his frame, he loses the ball too easily. And as a number 9, and I wouldn't even deem him as number 9, but he plays as a number 9 or a false 9, whatever you want to use it in terms of the meaning of his position. But in that position, you expect him to hold the ball up. You expect him to link play. You expect him to make movement and runs, which I know he can do. Kai Havertz has the talent. He's a very good player. I know he hasn't been consistent, and I know that his run of form is not good at the moment, and I understand people's frustrations. But this boy is good. I'm telling you, there is a good player in Kai Havertz. The issue with Kai Havertz, for me, is the consistency in his game. He needs to... he needs to step up when we need him to. He needs to take control when we need him to. He needs to do more in games when we're not playing as well. He needs to stand out. These are things that, as he's getting older, he needs to become. If he wants to be one of the best in the world and he wants to be on the levels of Neymar's, Mbappe's and all these types of players, he needs to step up for himself. He needs to be counted. And yeah, there we go. So, go and check Chelsea database out on Twitter, guys. If you haven't done already, please make sure that you do that as well. Big up to every single one of you guys. Over nearly 300 of you guys here, which is nice to see you all as always. But make sure we're getting them likes up. Let's get over 100 likes on both channels. 157 people on Chelsea Fan TV. Only 62 likes, guys. Hit the like button now. Chelsea GNA TV, 44 likes. 120 of you here. Let's smash the likes. Hit that fun. Hit the fun. Please do that. Let's try and get this out to 100 likes as quickly as possible. We're just going to quickly fly through a quick player rating really quickly on the game. And then we're going to go through the transfer talk, because we've got to talk Leao, we've got to talk Gordon, we've got to talk Aubameyang, we've got to talk about how they fit, how are Chelsea utilising these players. We're going to open up the lines as well, give you guys the opportunity to get involved and have your say as well, which is ultimately which we'll be doing soon in the show as well. So make sure that you guys are around for that as well. I'm just seeing if there's any more news. No, there is no more news yet. Okay, cool. So in terms of Edouard's Mendy performances, guys, quickly get involved in the chat. Let's fly through this. I don't want to be too long in it. I'm just going to be very quick in and out, and then we're going to get on to transfers and we'll open up the lines, get your guys' thoughts and opinions. Edouard Mendy for me was a 2. That's the best I can give him. -1 is what we've got here. Mendy was criminal, 0. Would I start Kepa? I just don't feel Kepa's... I think Kepa's better at playing the ball out and is more comfortable. I just don't think that he's an all-round better goalkeeper. I don't think we have that, like with someone that we can rely upon more. Miles says Mendy gets a 4, 2, 2, 2. I've gone for a 2 as well. I think that's only fair. I'd start Kepa, is what Couch saying. Good, interesting to hear. I'd like to know why when we open up the lines, Couch. I want to know why. Let's move on to the defence, and I'll go to Cucurella. Now, I don't think he had the greatest of games yesterday. Ultimately, I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch. I'd probably give Cucurella probably a 5, which is an average performance. Big up to Sportswire in the house as well. It was, I think the whole team struggled. What I like about Cucurella is that he's always progressive, always looks forward, he always tries to make that pass quickly. He tries to move the ball quicker to the forward line. He even tries them passes over the top, which don't always work. But I like it. I like the effort. I like the way he tries to make things happen. And I think he's going to be a great player for Chelsea. I do. 5, 6, 3.5, 4, 4. I've gone for a 5, 3, 5. So, yeah, a bit of a mixed one there for Cucurella on that one. We move on to... Let's move on to Koulibaly, who did pick up the red card, and he did struggle in this game. I thought he was progressively decent. I thought he had a good first 20 minutes. And then he just, the silly individual moments again, which you should expect someone of his age not to do. You know, getting the yellow card was a silly foul, and to get a second yellow in the game is just not good enough for me. Just for doing that in between game, even though we was chasing the game, I get it. You're frustrated. I understand that. But when you think about, you know, the damage that he's done there, I'd probably say that you're looking at a possible 2-3 for Koulibaly for me. 4-4-1, 5-4-4. I think -5 is what we got from Ritek. Koulibaly got turned into a pretzel in his first yellow. 2. Koulibaly led the top 5 leagues in red cards, is what we've got here. Koulibaly 2, 5. So everyone sort of mixed their thoughts on Koulibaly on that one. Thiago Silva, I mean, everyone knows my thoughts on Thiago Silva. He's for me the most consistent, one of probably our best player in terms of his consistency. I ain't giving him anything less than a 5. He didn't do much wrong. In my opinion, all right, goals were conceded. One was a mistake by Mendy. The other one was from a header, which he was nowhere near because he was marking at the back. The third goal, maybe he could have maybe done a bit more in the box with Koulibaly and stopping that from going in. But, you know, Thiago Silva's Thiago Silva, man. He's just a 5. You know what I mean? It's hard to give him less than that. Usually he's at 8, 9 in most games, you know. So we move from Thiago Silva. Reece James. Reece James. Where are you, Reece James? Where are you, Reece James? There he is, Reece James. See, I thought Reece James just had an average game. I don't think he was great at the time. I don't think he was shocking. I just feel he was just okay, but he just wasn't good enough, you know. Rate him for knocking the ref out of the way, actually shouldering the ref, which is quite nice to see in many ways, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I would probably say he's probably a 4, a 3, 4-3 for me. 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3. So we've got here. 3, 5. Yeah, I'm going to go over 3. I think a 3 is a good shout. He lowest he's ever been by his standards, but he's had some poor games even at the beginning for me. You know, he never looked up for it. Big up to True Chelsea in the house. Hope you're well. Yeah, I will be inviting a panel very soon, mate. We've got transfer news to go through next, give our thoughts and opinions, and then we're going to open up the lines, and then you guys can come in, all have your say, either on this, either on the transfers, either on the Tuchel noise in and around Twitter at the moment that we're seeing as well. So lots to get into, but smash the likes, guys. Make sure you're hitting them likes. I want to be over 100 likes on both channels before we open up the lines. So please make sure we get them likes up. Get them likes up. Midfield, Jorginho. Do you know what it is with Jorginho? I kind of just know what we get with him. Is at a point now where I'm just used to knowing, just seeing and knowing what he is the best that he can do. Like, there's not much that I don't think there's a massive level that he can jump where we can be much better when he's in the team. I just know what he is. I know what he brings. I know what he possesses. And, you know, he's just not enough is the answer to that. And he for me, probably a 2 in the game. I thought our midfield was shocking, to be honest. It's been -5, 1, 6, -2, 1, 0, 2, 2. Sorry, -4, 2, 4. Yeah, I just thought he was poor, man. 2 for me as well. Conor Gallagher. Where is he? Conor Gallagher. I think he struggled with the tempo of the game. I felt that he took up positions that he just wasn't aware. Like, do you want to say to you guys that we have too many 8s? We do have too many 8s. Like, we have so many 8s that when we ask them to play in the 6, the understanding that's required to play in that role is just not there. They just can't do it. And again, Conor Gallagher yesterday, even though I feel there's a good player in him, kind of just showed me that he's not ready to be able to adapt and play different styles at his age. I think he needs to master what he's good at, which is playing as an 8. But when you play in a team at Chelsea, he doesn't allow you to play that 8. How does he fit the team? How do we get him in? What do we do with him? How do we utilize him? You know, it's a weird one. We need more 6s. We have no 6s after Covington can't get injured and more 8s. and Tuchel feels confident and happy enough to use them in their position and feels that he can get the best out of them. If he saw the Leeds game, that should tell him that it wasn't good. And it wasn't. You know, I'm a big fan of Tuchel. I still back him to this day. I still feel we need to see what happens in the window, where he goes with it. But the pressure is on the manager. The pressure is on him because he has made the decisions of who he wants in the squad. He has decided who he wants to bring in the door, even if it costs 60 million Gulden or 80 million for Fana. These are things that he has to, as a manager, has to take responsibility for. But that doesn't mean that I'm criticizing him. That just means that he has to, you know, if things don't work the way that we expect them to, or we don't see a clear progression of the players, a clear progression of the squad, the overall squad, and the manager's ideas, then it becomes an issue. And that's the truth when it comes to it. And I still back him. I still will do. I see what he wants to do, but very hard to question him yet, you know. But Conor Gallagher for me is I thought he was poor, man. I don't even know what to give him, to be honest. 2 at a max, you know, 2 at a max. We move from Conor Gallagher and we go on to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. You know what it is with Ruben? Like, I get the hype of him playing in that wing-back position and people think he can do it. It's a stopgap. Granted, I agree it can be a stopgap. I do. But it's still not to the level that we need. It's still not keeping Reece James on his toes or allowing Reece James to play in that central back position comfortably, knowing that we've got a player in front of him that is able to do what Reece James does. Let's be serious. He doesn't do what Reece James does. He's offensively good moving forward with the ball, but he doesn't really give us the same thing. We know defensively he can do a job to a degree. We know offensively he's good moving forward with the ball, and why he looks good when he moves forward with the ball is because we're not asking him to play as a 6. It's because we're not saying to him, sit in front of the defence. It's because we're saying to him, take the ball, drive forward, and play to your strengths, but in a position a bit wider. He didn't have the greatest of games against Leeds. But the issue lies with Ruben Loftus-Cheek that it is hard for him to be consistent in a position that I feel, again, that he can do and play, and to a degree, but we will never get it to the level that we would need for the system to continuously be successful. And that's why we need to maybe look in that area, like we did with Cucurella for Chilwell, keeping the levels high, keeping the standards where it needs to be. He can do a job there. It's not my problem. My problem is that offensively he's good. We're asking him to play wider, but I just don't feel that he is. I don't feel he is the player that could consistently play there and allow us to be competitive and successful, or be the long-term idea of Ruben on the right. I think we're accommodating what we know he's good at doing, which is being further up the pitch. But it's still just not enough in what we require from that position specifically from him. Because when Reece James is there, it's a completely different thing. How he goes forward, how he gets back. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, look, again, that's just my opinion on it. Is it? I seem all right. I seem all right, mate. Just refresh your thing. Guys, there's over 330 of you guys here. Make sure we're hitting the likes. Let's get these likes over 100. Like I said, the lines are going to be open. I want you guys to get involved as well. So please make sure that we do that. But yeah, that's what we are with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We move on from Ruben Loftus-Cheek on to... Who have I missed? I've missed someone, haven't I? Koulibaly, Reece James. Conor Gallagher. Who was off the left? Mount. Was it Mount? Yeah. So who played off the left? I can't even remember. I know Cucurella was in there. Yeah, Cucurella played off the left, didn't he? Yeah. I'm getting it mixed up. All right, cool. Right, we move. Mason Mount. Listen, our forward line need to wake up. That's the truth. They need to wake up. They're going into their third and fourth seasons in this Premier League. There is no more excuses about them being young. Mason Mount, who has been very good in the last 2 seasons, has to kick on, has to move forward. I don't like him playing in the position that he plays. I prefer him to be in that 10 hole or 8 hole in a 3-5-2. I think that does work. And if we find him quick enough with the ball and he picks the ball up and he drives forward, that's when we see maybe the best of him. He still needs to release the ball quicker. He still needs to stop looking down at the ball. He needs to look up quicker and play passes in when players are making runs. These are things that, he had the chance of the things, but these are things that he needs to improve on, and things that he should be working on in himself. Because at the moment, in the first 3 games, we've seen Sterling, Havertz and Mount as our front 3 for the first 3 games, and they all have 0. Difference, at least Sterling's had good chances, or it looks more effective in his role. Mount hasn't, and he hasn't been good. I don't think he's been that good. I think he was good against Spurs, I think he was good against Spurs. Some people don't feel he was decent against Spurs. But in this game against Leeds, he ghosted again. Didn't really get involved. He didn't make the impact. He didn't step up. And he needs to wake up. Because his position shouldn't be at a point where he's irreplaceable. He is replaceable. That's the truth. He is. Every player in this team is replaceable. It's just about us strengthening it over the coming years so that we have good squad depth and we have competition. Competition might then fire these boys up a bit more. But when you've got Ziyech, Werner, Cho, Lukaku, all these players gone and very limited options, and why are we looking at Gordon or Aubameyang, who we're going to next? These guys, not to say that they're not trying, but the pressure's not really there for me. And I need to see more. He wasn't good for me. He was a 2. Sterling, quickly before we get onto things, Sterling, I think should have scored in the first minute, and he needs to score that chance. That's why he's been brought in them moments, and I need to see that. He will score goals, Sterling. I think he will. I think there's a good player in Sterling. It's just, again, getting the best out of him. And I always said this, getting Sterling's not enough. I've said it all through the transfer window on this channel. He will not be enough. We need more creators around him. We need players who are a bit similar like him, direct, take players on, gets in the box quickly, takes or alleviates the pressure away from him so that he can run into them spaces. We do become heavily reliant on him, where we play the ball into him and he comes deep and he tries to do a Hazard, take people on. Don't want to see that all the time. I want him to be able to have not the freedom, but like if there's 2 of them on the pitch, it makes it harder for a team to mark because of their movement, because of how direct they are, because of their pace. And he wasn't good against Leeds, I don't think. I think he had good moments again, but the whole team just wasn't good. And he was a part of it, and he's one of the experienced guys. For me, he was maybe a 4 at a push. 4 at a push. 4 at a push, easily. 4, 5 is what we've got here. And then we move on to the last but not least. Kai Havertz. Time is against him now. He needs to step up. He can't be ghosting games. He needs to get involved. He needs to be using his frame. He needs to link the play better. He can do all this, by the way. He can do all this. We've seen him. I've seen him do it. Again, what lets him down is his consistency. We know how poor he is in the beginning of games. And he can't continuously keep being poor at the beginning of games. He needs to step up. He needs to be counted for. £70 million worth of money spent on the guy. He needs to get, people say, well, he ain't playing his best position, but then we ask for him to play there in his system because it can work. He does have chances. He's had chances created for him, but he's not effective enough. And him and Mount, who usually got the best chemistry, haven't been good. That good. I thought he was good against Spurs. I did, even though he missed that chance. I thought he was better. And we saw a bit of the Kai that I know. But he needs to take his chances. He needs to take the chances in front of goal. If he starts doing that, and his performances follow like they did against Spurs, then we wouldn't be sitting here talking about him. But he needs to. He needs to kick on. The pressure's going to come with the transfers. 2 for me. 2, 1, whatever you guys want to call it. The same thing to me. He did get dispossessed. For 6 foot, he needs to work on his frame. He gets pushed off the ball too easily. You know, Broar, when he's fit, may get a good opportunity of getting into this team. 100%. He's been poor, and he needs to wake up quickly. Quick time. I'm not going to rate the subs, because I thought Ziyech and Pulisic, when they come on the pitch, didn't offer much. What ultimately annoys me the most over everything when I think about it all is we go 1-0 behind. That's cool. It's not cool how we make individual mistakes, but we go 1-0 behind, and it's, for me, it's, how do we respond? We go 2-0 behind. Silly defending, ball watching. Again, for me, it's how do we respond? What's the mentality of the players? How do they then move forward with this? And what I saw against Leeds was no mentality, no bottle, no fight. And even when we changed the 3 to the 4, which is what so many people ask for, 4. We want the 4. Yeah. And we played Pulisic, and we played Ziyech, and we played Sterling, and we played Havertz. I think Mount was still on the pitch. He might have not been. And we had all these attacking players on the pitch. We still done fuck all. It wasn't good enough. It is, and I was angry. And what I was angry wasn't just about the way we conceded the goals. What angers me more in football, more than anything, and you've probably heard me say it last season, is the fight. Is the mate stepping up, is getting stuck in, is winning challenges, is trying to make things happen. We just had a bunch of headless chickens running around, or not even running, especially in our forward line. No chemistry, not linking up, don't really look bothered. Leeds were the opposite. Leeds were working hard. They were getting stuck in. They were making sure there was no spaces behind. They were making things hard for us. But us, no. Look at a good example of it. I'll give you a great example of it. Look how Man City played against Newcastle. 3-1 behind after Trippier's goal. Look at how they responded in the game. And they didn't win the game, but they drew the game. And I bet you any money that their fans were happy. Even though they feel like maybe they could have won, are happy. Because they showed spirit, they showed fight, they showed what it is to be at the next level to become champions. We are nowhere near that. And this is why my expectations are okay of where I feel that we're going to be. We will lose games this season. We will. Now we need to accept that. But every time we lose a game, we've got to stop overreacting and going into what I call a meltdown. Oh, it's the end of the world. Sack him. Get rid of that one. Fuck him. Fuck that one. Do that one. Do this, that, and the other. Which is what happens across Twitter. We will have arguments about what we feel as fans is the right thing to do. But ultimately, the real truth behind it is that it's an opinion. It's an opinion. We all have opinions, and you're entitled to your opinion. But it's nothing more than an opinion. Doesn't mean that you're right. Doesn't mean that you're wrong. But what we've got to stop doing every time we lose games is just pointing fingers of getting rid of that one, get rid of that one, see that one, see you later, fuck off, that one, this, that, and the other. It's too reactionary. We're 3 games in. We've won game. We've won one. We've lost one, and we've drew one. I know that we're going to lose games. I understand where we go from this. I get it. I understand my expectations. You just need to understand yours. And if yours is to challenge because we've spent 200, 300 million, and that's what you feel should deem to be challenging, then that's your expectations, and that's fair. But if we spend 200 million, for me, doesn't mean to me that we should be challenging. What it means to me is what it's always been, that it's a transition, that we still need to get rid of Deadwood, that we still need to strengthen. We still need quality and depth. We still need to get rid of players that can't play in a system. There's a lot of things that we need to do, that we need to allow time on. And I understand it. But the one big thing that I want to see the whole season, even if we lose games, is my team fighting. Is my team giving their all? Is my team losing games, but, doing all they can and maybe just losing. And it is what it is. And I can accept that because I understand where we're at. I can't accept losing 3-0 to Leeds and no effort, no bottle, no mentality, nothing. I can't accept that. That's not good enough. That's where I get frustrated. And look, we all have our own opinions on who should go and who should stay. And that's fair enough. Some people want Tuchel out. Some people want him in. Some people don't think Bowley's done well. Some people hate Havertz. Some people hate Jorginho. Some people hate Mount. That's cool. We all have our own things, or how we feel, or what we can do better. But, ultimately, I think we just, as a fan base, need to just calm a little bit. Calm and respecting people's opinions on things. May not have to agree. You can agree to disagree, but yeah, we move. Anyway, let's get into transfer news. And then we're going to open up the lines because I want to get you guys involved as well. And we're being linked to a player who I would deem and say and call as pretty talented. A good player. A player that's I can kind of understand why we're going for to a degree in terms of his versatility and being able to adapt. But what I can't agree on is 60 million. And I felt the same, as I said with the same thing with Fofana, I feel the same thing with Gordon. With the way that I feel with Anthony Gordon. He's overvalued. It's not his fault that he's being valued at this, by the way. It's not his fault. But he's being overvalued massively. Massively. And 60 million is a lot of money. And Tuchel's really putting pressure on himself. Bowley putting pressure on himself. Spending this kind of money on young players. They are. But where does he fit in for 60 million? If it was to be 60 million, well, we could use him as a wing back, which is where Reece James may now play as a right centre and have Gordon with his pace up and down the wing. Yeah, I can see that. We can play him as a right forward or a left forward. He gives you options, versatility. But why does Tuchel want him so much? Well, the only reason I can feel that he wants him so much is because he can adapt him. Because he can, where he's still raw and young, he feels maybe he can mould him into the system in the way that he wants to mould him into. I'm cool with all that. I have no problem with the player. I think the player is a decent player. I just think that 60 million is too much and overvalue. It's what Everton feel he's valued at, which is fine. And it's obviously what Chelsea feel is fair because we're the ones that are going to pay it. And you move on from that comment. And now we have this comment from Simon Phillips about Gordon where we've been told it was 60 million. And now we're being told that it's, from what he's understanding, is that the base fee Chelsea are proposing for Anthony Gordon is less than 50 million, nearer to 40, with the total fee including add-ons taking it up to 50. So it's going to be about 40 with add-ons, or 42, 43, which I still feel is a bit of money. It's better than 60, and it's better than 50. Add-ons are structured. So people need to understand that Everton will probably want a bigger bulk, which means Chelsea might have to put 20, 25 million bulk up front, and then the rest split out on a contract, along with add-ons, with the add-ons being that he gets us Champions League, or we win a Premier League, or he scores double-digit goals. And, that's where the add-ons kick in. Whatever the add-ons are, they will be escalated and broken down in structure. So when we look at, oh my God, we're spending 50 million, it's not specifically, and Ben Jacobs said it so many times, it's not specifically the 50 million, it's how do we structure the 50 million? Because if it's 40 million, where we give them 20 million up front and we pay 20 million over 6 years with 10 million add-ons, but the add-ons only kick in on A, B, C, and D, then I get it. Even though I still feel it's overall a lot of money, I get it. Because in that meantime, say in the next 6 years, Chelsea challenge for a title, they win a title, win maybe one more Champions League, or they don't. They win an FA Cup and they win a League Cup, and he is scoring double digits within them periods. What are we to moan about? Why are we going to question it? We wouldn't. We wouldn't even be talking about it. We wouldn't even question it. So I think people need to understand that it's about understanding the structure of how this is going to be done. And yes, I do feel that it's overvalued. 60 million is a lot of money. If it's 40 million, I still feel it's even a bit of money. But paying 20 mil up front and structuring 20 mil plus another 10 mil, whatever we're going to do for a player that is as raw as him, maybe we get away with it. Maybe we don't, maybe we end up having a player that's double the money in a couple of years. That's 120, 130, 140 million on our books. And we were moaning about 40 million. It's just a lot of money now because we don't know, or we don't even know what to expect of the player. And that's the difference. So for me, it's not always, even though I'm not happy with the total figure, it's how we structure the total figure. So I need to know specifically how we are structuring it before I make a real decision on it. So let's see what happens on Gordon at a later stage. But I want to know your thoughts and feelings, guys, in the chat. Do you feel that Gordon is a good option for Chelsea? Is he? Do you feel Gordon's a good option? Personally, I'd sell Gallagher, is what Couch is saying. Couch, I'll be opening up the line soon. We'll get you involved as well. I'm flying through this transfer news because I want to open up the lines and give you guys about an hour to get involved as well. And I want to just quickly highlight the talks. Where's he gone? In around this guy as well. Before we do that, we have got a super chat. Super chat from Artem. Big up to Artem. He's a big supporter of GNA TV. He says, I rate Gordon. I think he can be very good for us. But after the performance on Sunday, we all know that 60 million should be going towards a midfielder. Priorities is what you're saying. Priorities I agree on. I think that we should be looking at a midfield. I think we should be looking at 6. I agree. I think that is something we should be doing. Tuchel feels that we need strength in other areas. It's a tough one. How for us to maybe take, because we know that certain 8s can't play in 6s, and he feels maybe that they can, and that's not good for us moving forward. We know that, but is it a stopgap? Is the real 6 that we want not available? Is this why we're not rushing to look at midfield? Have we missed out on opportunities that maybe we would have gone for earlier in the window, which are not available? Like, why are we not looking at the midfield? Is Declan Rice the answer? Is that what we're waiting for? I'm just giving an example. I don't feel that they're sitting there going, we don't need midfield. I think he probably knows that Kovacic will be back soon. Kante is going to be back in a couple of weeks, but we know how injury prone they are. Maybe he feels that the stopgap would be better to use a Gallagher, Ruben, whoever, Carney, to play in that position until they can really get the player that they want in that role, rather than just go and get player that they're not 100% sure on or feel. But yeah, big up to Artem. Artem, big up to you, man. Thank you for the donation as always. I like seeing you in the chat, mate. But guys, if you want to put a super chat in, please, you know how to do so. So please put a super chat in if you would like us to answer any questions. But also smash the likes, because we've only got 102 likes on Chelsea Fan TV. Let's get this up to 200 likes. GNA TV, we've got 71 likes. There's over 200 of you guys here. Come on. Let's get this over 100 likes now, please. Before I open up the lines, we've got to have over 100 likes on GNA TV. So everyone hit the thumb now while I quickly go through the Nkunku news. Now, the Nkunku news that we've been told from Simon Phillips is that Nkunku from Leipzig, though I am told, is a real priority target for next summer, and he is the one that Chelsea want to bring in. Todd Bowley has held meetings with Nkunku to sign for next summer. When I look at the specific profile of Nkunku, I think he's the type of player we need in our system, our hybrid system, in the 4, in the 3. I feel he's the player with Sterling that would really, really excite things. What I would say is that if we go for an Nkunku next summer and we go for a Leao and we get Gordon and we got Sterling, let's just say, I do see Kai Havertz potentially leaving. I don't see how Kai Havertz fits in that, personally. Mason Mount will get in here one way or the other through what I would probably say is rotation. And there will be a lot of rotation. He may start games and continue to start games, but he may ultimately be sub more. But if we do get the signings that we're talking about, Nkunku, Leao, Sterling's already here, Gordon, maybe Havertz may have to leave. If he don't, Pulisic will probably go, and we keep Havertz. But then how does Havertz then get utilised with Nkunku? How do you then get Sterling, Havertz, and Nkunku in the same team and not play Leao? Like, these are problems that they will then have if we do get all of our targets. If we don't, then obviously we'll keep Havertz and add Leao to it and whatever else and have more direct players. And I'm cool with that. Cool with that. But Nkunku, for me, suits the way that we move forward. People will say Bundesliga's tax and we've got to be careful. Look what happened with Timo Werner, blah, blah, blah. I agree. But to have Bundesliga's tax on every single player is not the right way to look at things, is what I would say. If we change formation and don't forget, we still need... Yeah, but yeah, it's if we change the formation and play 2-8s, maybe you can play Havertz or Mount or whatever. But yeah, interesting stuff. We'll see what happens with the Nkunku news later. Now we're going to quickly fly onto the Leao news and then we're going to soon open the lines. The Leao news is that Chelsea and AC Milan have been negotiating over the weekend with the possibility one or more Chelsea players are included in the deal for Leao. Chelsea are being asked to structure the deal in which Leao is relinquished from CAS fines he owes to Sporting. Well, I don't think the CAS fines are going to be too much of an issue for Chelsea. We have money. If we want the player and the player's interested, as we were being told, then they'll get it done. And apparently Leao, along with Nkunku, are one of the two players that are on Chelsea's priority list, high list, the players we want to get over. Maybe they're looking at the forward line and seeing that it's still just not working, and maybe we need to break the bank. I like Leao. I haven't watched tons of him, but I think there's a good player in him. Tricky, good with the ball, creative, direct, will score goals. There's a good player in him. There is a good player in him, but is he 97 million euros? Or 98 million euros, which is what we're going to go to now? Is 98 million euros? And I'm going to ask that question in the chat in a second, actually, on the GNA TV site, because there's over 199 you guys. Is 98 million euros worth it? Or, yeah, question mark. So in the GNA TV community channel, I've put out a question. Why have I put 898? Is 898 euros? Wrong thing. I wasn't meant to say that. I was meant to say is 98 million euros good for? Because I want to know if people in the chat have watched Leao. I want to know what people are saying. There you go. I put it out in the chat now. Is 98 million euros worth it for Leao? I want to know your thoughts on the poll. Yes or no? Get yourself over to GNA TV. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe as well. Subscribe to the channel. When I wrote to 10K subscribers, big up to every single one of you guys as well. What we got here? Squad depth. That's what people are saying. I said it's 898 euros. Good for Leao. Maybe 90 is what we've got. Leao as a wing back will be a red flag to Thomas Tuchel for me, is what we've got here. So interesting to see. But yeah, this is what we're saying. We're saying 98 million euros for a player who has a release clause of 120 something odd pounds. So it's a lot of money, you know, a lot of money. We go on to what Football London was continuing saying here as well. They seem to feel that currently Chelsea are still trying to work on a deal for him. The player is keen on the move with negotiations ongoing between the clubs. Apparently there isn't negotiations going on. Not had no real confirmations yet from the Fabrizio Romanos, etc., etc. But what sort of player is Leao? What type of player are we getting in a player like Leao? Well, where is it? Where is it gone? Why can I not see this? Where are you? There we go. Well, this is the type of player we were getting in Leao. A player with the ability to dribble, score goals, take his chances. You know, he is tricky. He's tricky to say the least. Just watching some of his comps quickly. what I like is the directiveness, and what I have always said about we need in the forward line with Sterling is this: we need someone that can do this, attract players, run at players, not scared to take players on, the ability with both feet, strong, shoot with both feet as well. You know, his balance on the ball is very impressive. Like I said, I haven't watched tons of him, but looking at him here, and I know comps can be a little bit over the top in terms of how good the player is overall and how consistent he is, but he is a hot prospect across Europe at the moment, and it looks like his game's developed. He can create. You know, and he's skillful, to say the least. He is skillful. I love the Cruyffs. He loves a bit of a Cruyff, doesn't he? Look. Oh, back post. Bang. Giroud. Giroud's playing with him at the moment. Ah, he's quick. He's quick. That's what we need. Directiveness. All of this that you're watching will lift and elevate a Tuchel system. All of this. Energy, power, directiveness, the ability to run at players, take players on, open space. Every time, look. He has that ability. And between him and Sterling, we could have very good direct players. You know, he's quick and he can finish. Look at that. He has the ability to finish. And it's impressive. Very impressive from the guy. You know, but we could sit here all day watching this, and I don't want to sit here watching it all day because I want to get you guys involved. But you get what I mean in terms of what we're getting. Good player, and we'll have to see how that turns out as well. Right, we are going to open up the lines, but we just quickly got to jump on this Aubameyang news. Before we do that, we've got another super chat from Gio. Gio is an AC Milan fan. Big up to you, bro. Nice to see you in the chat. He says, Gem, Leao is a baller. 80 million plus Savić and Gallagher, and you can take him off our hands. Keep up the fire content, bro. I like the channel is growing. Gio, big shout out to you, man. Thank you again for running through, as always. Nice to see you in the chat. We've got over 430 people here right now. Over 400 of you guys here. Make sure that you're smashing the likes combined. Let's get these likes up. Should be over 100 likes on both channels. Like I said, GNA TV, if we're not over 100 likes, can't put the link in the chat. And we're at 87. So hit the thumb. Hit the thumb now while I'm going through the Aubameyang news, and then we'll open up the lines. But I need these likes. Get the thumbs up. Hit the thumb. Hit that thumb. Big up to you, Gio. Thank you for that as well. Overrated. I definitely don't want Gordon. Welcome to Chelsea FC. Leao. That's what we've got here. And now we move on to Aubameyang real quickly because, again, still Chelsea are trying to negotiate a deal for him. The sale of Aubameyang, Barcelona would free up 18.4 million gross in wage bill. This will allow Barca to register Koundé. Koundé is not being registered and isn't being registered because of the sale. Players need to be sold. Aubameyang apparently wants Chelsea and is keen on a Chelsea move. We are still in the same position in terms of waiting. But the Standard Sports seem to think that Gordon and Aubameyang will be the first two players that Chelsea sign through the door. And I want to know your thoughts on that. But quickly before I do that, I want to just quickly jump onto the poll that we had out earlier. So 65% of people were saying that a 98 million euro payout for Leao is worth it. So 65 against 35. It's not as big as I thought. Don't get me wrong, but big up to you guys in the chat for that as well. So 65% or 68% people think that we should still get him. Now, Aubameyang. How interested are you guys in Aubameyang coming to Chelsea? Is he a player that you feel we should get? Are you not interested in it? I want to know your thoughts in the chat. From my perspective, I get why we're looking at the player. We know, again, it's a Thomas Tuchel connection. It is a short-term player for me coming in. The contract is key. What do we bring him in for? Do we bring him for 2 years? Do we bring him for 1 year? That's not 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. What is the contract going to be? His wages is another story because we know, again, that he can be quite demanding with wanting a heavy wage, a decent wage. And I don't feel that we're going to spend that kind of money on a heavy wage. And being told that it could be anything in around 100 to 160,000 a week He's only getting half of that at the moment at Barcelona. Just not too sure. I agree. Only if it was a 2-year contract, it would be better. That I would agree with that as well. Right, the lines are now open. We are an hour in. I did promise you guys an hour on the show, so here's your hour. The hour is for you guys. Over 400 of you guys here. Have we got over 100 likes on GNA TV? 95 likes. Get this over 100 likes, please, guys. Get this over. Smash that like. How quickly can we get this over 100 likes on both? Chelsea Fan TV, you guys are on your road to 200 likes. So make sure you hit the like button. Let's close the gap to 200 likes. GNA TV, we're only on 96. Come on. Come on. Hitting that like. Keep hitting that like. I can't bring people on until we get over 100 likes. I should be over 100 likes. How can I have 200 people and only have 100 likes? You should have 200 likes. That means people are watching without hitting the thumb. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, you're better than this. Couch Critic is in the house. Callie is in the house. Jay is in the house. CFCO is in the house. True Chelsea is in the house. Chelsea Database is in the house. Everyone is in the house. Couch, how you doing, mate?
I'm great, man. It's good to see you again, Chairman. Great show as always. Always bringing the facts, which is more than I can say for some people.
Yeah, no, good to see you. I mean, what do you want to talk about, Couch? Anyway, give me your thoughts on the transfers.
Wait, one of you are echoing. If you're not speaking, mute yourself.
I've had to mute someone because you're echoing at the moment. I don't know why. Tell me about the thoughts quickly on the Leeds game, like your thoughts on that overall game, and also like your thoughts on how Chelsea are moving in the window, and all of this build up around Thomas Tuchel and some Chelsea fans not being happy with him and stuff like that.
Well, I'll start there. I don't really listen to that sort of noise. I think it's way too early in the season to be judging Tuchel. He hasn't even gotten his team together yet. We have to wait for this window to close and then see how it shapes out. So I'm not really focusing on that sort of noise. As far as the Leeds games goes, there's a lot of bad things that happened in that game. The first thing that I noticed was that Chelsea were just being outworked. And I always think that when you're talking about like a championship team, a team that's challenging for titles, you have to be able to go through the gears. Chelsea came out and played at such a low tempo, could not go through the gears, and they could not match the intensity of Leeds. That was the most depressing part about it. The fact that we pride ourselves on being a possession-based team, a team that is good in possession, press resistant. And when Leeds pressed us as relentlessly as they could, and they're good at pressing, don't get it twisted. I know that they're very good at it, but the fact that we could not go through the gears and get to that next level where we're actually playing at the same tempo and pace as them was very depressing. Obviously we had our opportunities in the first half and missed them. So there's lots to be said about what we have as our striking options right now. It still needs to be looked at. Of course, Aubameyang's being looked at, but the real problem in that game, the first problem was Mendy. Like and it's happened again. Like this is not something that's the first time that this has happened. Like we've seen this guy get caught in possession at least three times. And for a possession-based team that wants to be playing out from the back, you need a keeper that is good in possession, and he's just not. We can't ignore this anymore. It's for this reason that I think that Kepa should probably get another look. It's not a popular decision.
Yeah,
but honestly, if we cannot build attacks from the back, if we can't trust our keeper in possession, like, do you trust him?
I trust more of his overall game than Kepa.
Do you trust him in possession?
I don't think he's better in possession than Kepa, no. But I do feel that he's overall a better goalie though. And I'm talking about.
I would say he's a better shot stopper.
I don't know about being
yeah, but this is the new Kepa.
I just feel that the issue we have is that we have Kepa on the bench. It's like, I get the whole Mendy could be dropped thing. I get it. But who are we dropping him for? Or you want to bring Kepa in? All right, fair. But I don't think it's the best thing to do still. That's my opinion. But
fair enough.
I don't know.
And like the whole Conor Gallagher thing, like, it's not so much that I think that he's a bad player. I just think that if we're not going to be utilizing that guy in a role that is conducive to him producing good performances, then what's the
I don't
point?
think we should brush over the Mendy thing so quickly.
Okay,
because
say your piece,
I swear on changing the goalkeeper seems to be the biggest game changer, like for a lot of teams. You know, I was looking. Are you guys watching All or Nothing? Do you see like the big decision to put Ramsdale in? Leno's gone, and he's like completely gone now. I just think we should give, as you know, Kepa a chance because he's not a little boy no more. He's not that guy that was rude to Sorry many years ago. He's 27. I'm saying he's got that loyal girlfriend, that new girlfriend of his. He wants to get married, have kids, wants to settle down. Let's see if he's solid.
Let me ask you this. In Mendy's career at Chelsea, has he been better or worse? Has he made us better or has he made us
before
worse?
this season started?
No, but his overall career, has he been better or has he been worse?
He came high and he's going down ever since AFCON. Just before AFCON and after that,
all of
I can't rate him.
He's been poor for me, man. All of 2022.
No, but what I'm saying to you guys, in his overall career at Chelsea, when you look at it overall, has he been better for us or has he been worse for us?
Better overall,
than Kepa, but he's been getting worse.
Is this really that hard? Is this a hard question? Are we really?
Right, he's been better for us. I'll go better.
No.
He's been better. He's been better.
He's better than Kepa, but he's declining, and that's the problem.
I wouldn't have seen
He
the
needs to
same
be kept on his
declining.
toes.
And he's so young. He's so young. You're like, what's the issue?
I'm sorry. If I'm a manager, you'll get him benched for trying to question a striker. There's no other way to look at it. For the audacity of that alone, you're eating the bench. I'm not gonna be so real.
Jay, we have how many players in our team that make individual errors? We are individual errors. They do it across the pitch.
Costly. Like, you got to be safe, man. You got to be safe in possession as a keeper. And it's not like he was under duress. Like, he welcomed the pressure.
Yeah,
he welcomed the pressure.
He had two options. He had two wing backs that would have dropped in for him if you wait. Like, or maybe crazy idea.
You just kicked it. That's what we should have done. There's nothing else.
He thought he was innocent for like 3 seconds. I don't know.
I don't think we're addressing the issue if we bench Mendy. Our midfield's open like a brothel, which means there's going to be more long shots, more shots, more front.
Okay,
this window, I'm
going to the goals though. The problem we had in this game was the individual error from the keeper that started.
No.
They ran twice as much as us. Reece James should never be centralized. It's that simple. There's many other things. Havertz, like, his Champions League credit's done basically. Once we get a number 9, like Aubameyang, if he doesn't make it as a number 8, because I was watching one of his old interviews in Bayer Leverkusen, my man used to look up to Kaká. And for certain people who don't know who Kaká is, he's one of the greatest players ever. He was the best player for 1 year. Yeah. And like, he should be playing like that. He should be playing number 8. We always say, where's our number 8? Put him number 8, Aubameyang number 9. If he flops, then that Champions League credit is going to be all but done. Then he can move on.
Should we have not been 2-0 up before Mendy made a mistake?
Exactly what I'm trying to say.
1-0. I don't like saying 2-0 because if you score one goal, the next one doesn't come.
Let me ask you this. In Ruben's position, when he receives that ball in the box, if that's Reece James, does he shoot or does he do what Ruben does?
Reece would have scored that.
Yeah, it's definitely a shot on target. Yeah, for sure.
He would have scored, bro. You've seen his stats, bro. This guy's a finisher. Reece is
Ruben, man.
Reece shoots rockets if he gets the space.
I feel bad for Ruben, bro. His Twitter's getting destroyed, man. They call him bum cheek, bro.
This guy
leave Ruben alone, man. Let him move on.
I've never seen a player, play every game like they have something to prove, but do it like it affects them. Like, it affects them in a negative way. Like, there's certain players that come out with like, I have something to prove, and they ball out every single time.
That's like certain fighters, isn't it? Sometimes it negatively affects you, sometimes it positively affects you. He was stiff.
I haven't seen it positively affect him yet.
I think you guys are way too harsh on Ruben. Way too harsh on Ruben.
It's that fact that we didn't pay for Ruben. We made him. A lot of players we make, we just feel sentimental towards. If you bought Ruben from a random team at 21, and then you all make different decisions. But the fact that we nurtured him makes everyone more emotional.
It's a good point.
That's a good point.
Like I slander Adoy on a daily basis, and You
Bro,
know what it is,
20
Victor,
years
but it's
old,
just
bro.
like
You can't slander. Everyone's slander proof until 23. Always remember that. Like 21, bro. What were you doing at 20, 21, bro? It was probably
no,
chilling, bro. On the first day.
Nah.
I'm joking.
People
I
always say,
think it
listen,
depends
people
when you
always.
break through into the team.
My man's got a World Cup this year. Watch how Hudson-Odoi destroys it in the World Cup in them hot countries. Like obviously, body probably likes the hot country. Like Ghana's going to do well.
The only thing he's destroying is the fans' faces because he can't shoot, mate. Let's get serious.
Exactly.
Man, we'll see in the World
The
Cup.
worst shooting I've ever seen in a final third. Like, I don't get it. Like,
Who's good at shooting at Chelsea? That's the bro. Have you seen Chelsea training
Reece
videos?
James.
Training ground? They all hit the
Reece
crossbar
James.
as much as they want,
The
but
fact,
in the real game, they
the
can't
fact
do
you say Reece James is crazy, bro.
Yeah,
We
Reece
don't have
James
a
probably the
damn
best shooter.
forward.
let's get your thoughts, Callie. We'll go through one by one because I want to hear everyone that's on here, not everyone's talking. So go on, Callie. Like, how are you doing?
At work, thankfully, no one's fucking hitting me up. But it's a weird one, man. It's like I look at Arsenal, and please let me finish before you all go off in the comments. I look at Arsenal. I know they're gonna drop down to form, but they're for sure finishing top 4. And what I see in Arsenal is, you guys remember last year and the year before last year when we were leading the league around December time before, what always happens as Chelsea fans, December, we get slaughtered and then we end up fighting for top 4. I truly believe if we were ahead in the league, top of the league by December, we would win the league or compete. Because for the first fucking time in years, spot number 2 to 20 is open. Liverpool is no longer cemented at second place. That's not me being reactionary, anything like that. There are clear issues in Liverpool's team. Even City to themselves, I'm not sure they're hitting their 90-point season this year, to be honest with you, because of the changes in how they're playing and their philosophy. But what I look at in Chelsea is this. It's like, even if Tuchel gets all the players he wants right now, we're not challenging. So I don't know why there's a certain part of the fan base that's like, Tuchel out, he spent 250 mil, he has to compete for the league this year. It's like, let's be honest. We're not competing this year. We're just not.
This year. We are competing this year.
For the title? Wait. For the title?
Let's not make it bigger than it is, man. Arsenal might win the league this season. Leicester might win it again next season. You never know. It's still too early, guys. Relax.
You won't be judged.
One second. I want to hear what Couch is saying. 1 second.
Every year is a year of competition when you're at Chelsea. You cannot look at any year as being a year. Oh, well, just to take the year off because this. Every year we are competing for a title. Whether or not he's being judged by whether or not he's challenging for a title is another thing. That's another thing.
I would say that
is a year for the title.
I agree. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I think it's about understanding your own expectations of your club. Like for me, I don't expect us to challenge for a title this season because why? Because I do feel there's a big transition that needs to happen at Chelsea, and I don't think signing 200 millions of players in positions, especially when you think about the amount of players that are leaving the club as well in between this, is putting us in a position where we can challenge. I think we need to have competition across the squad, and I don't think that happens in one window. I think that takes 2 or 3 seasons, providing we can build from the bottom and work our way up. So my understanding is that we should be challenging for Champions League. Mm-hmm. We should be there. If we can win an FA Cup, whatever, cool. I'm down with that. Don't worry. But to say that I think we should win the league this season,
nobody's saying win the league.
I don't think we can.
I don't think that anyone's saying win the league. I don't think that you can have the mentality that like top 4 is all that we should be fighting for.
It's like
regardless
it's
of
like any top 5 fighter in the world, they all think they're the best fighter. They think on any given night they could be champions. That's how Chelsea is. We think we could be any team in the world at any given night, whether it's Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Bayern Munich. Maybe not over 2 legs, maybe we will. We never know.
All right, just quickly, super chat from Rodrigo Rogers.
Someone's echoing again.
Yeah, someone's echoing. I think I might know it is. There we go. I think it's you, Ryan. Ryan, you're echoing, mate. Rodrigo Rogers with a donation says someone needs to stop Tuchel 60 million on who? Guess who? We know who you're talking about. And then he also says on another super chat, big up to him. He says, "Why Tuchel say we don't need a midfielder? My head is hot."
And that was the next.
He's capping, bro.
I don't think he's serious when he says that. I'll be honest.
Wait,
I don't think
Jem.
he's serious.
Yeah. Jem, do you have any more super chats?
Jokes.
Okay, just checking. This is my thing about the midfielder, yeah? The midfield is actually fucking up the attack and the defense. And I don't know why
Right.
Jem knows. We've had too many shows. It's starting to get to a point where I don't care about the insecurities of some of you fans. Like, straight up and respectfully, our midfield is slaughtering us. When our starters are not healthy, which is very fucking often, Kovacic and Kante, if one of them are not paired with Jorginho, we get split like a hooker. And I'm tired of it. You can see it from three different situations, and I'm being serious. When we build up play from the back and it gets to the midfield, why the try not to curse so much? Why is there no progressive balls forward through the middle?
We know.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we know why. Then people, then people are gonna go. Okay, it's instructions, right? I truthfully believe if we had the midfield competency to pass in between the lines, Tuchel would administer those tactics by tomorrow. I truly believe that. Because everything I've seen from Tuchel tells me this. He knows how to do damage mitigation. That is his specialty alongside being a tactician. He knows which areas are lacking the most. So I cannot in my right mind believe he doesn't think we need a midfielder. And if he truly believes that, if this transfer window closes and he continues to play Gallagher on a fucking double pivot, I swear, wallahi, we're not finishing top 4. That's all I got.
Yo, brother, man, relax, Cali, bro, relax, man. Listen, Aubameyang is gonna be both like a coach. He's gonna be like, he's super little fun.
I think you said Aubameyang to play
and he's
DM,
gonna
man.
help us. What are you saying, Hassan?
I thought you said Aubameyang's gonna play DM for us. I thought you can make that
No. He's gonna make Havertz go to the midfield. We get another midfielder. Kovacic and Kante coming back. Relax, guys. Yeah, Aubameyang
Havertz
is
can
gonna
play right wing, bro. Or like
To
right
be honest
10.
with you, I want to see Mount as an 8. I want to see Havertz.
Yeah, but
anywhere
Mount
but
can't play
9.
every game. Chelsea play 60 games a season minimum. Well, G's like that. So he can't play every game. He's already tired and go World Cup, bro.
Mount
Mount and Gallagher should be rotating with each other, for being honest.
I want to see Mount in goal, and I think we play.
You want Aubameyang, bro. Better than Ronaldo.
Yeah, maybe he's got the height for it.
OG's right,
Hey,
but it's just
database. Can you bring out a statistical thread on Mount in goal and why it worked?
Bring up a statistic about Alonso, man. Since Barcelona ain't going for him, man. Alonso on strike. Save that money, man, for the DM.
Guys, I want to hear from True Chelsea. What you saying, True Chelsea?
Big ups to you guys. Big up, Jem. How are you guys doing?
All good, mate. All good. All good.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to it's really hard to know what Chelsea problem is, to be honest. Like, it seems like we kind of have like too many problems going on at once, all at once. But the question is like what is the really I've been trying to find out what issue with Chelsea, like what the issue is like with the team, because we've had this issue going on now like for a couple of years, not just like this season. Like, same thing happened last season before that. We've been seeing this level of inconsistency, this player mentality issue and stuff like that. So that just brings me to the further. I've been trying to like ask myself, like, what do they really do on the training ground? Because every time I watch Chelsea training session, it's almost like they're doing shooting drills. Like, there's nothing really going on in terms of like tactics, like doing like a 1-2 drills and stuff like that. Like, it's almost like a shooting drills, and everyone was just like, it's so casual. Like, it's like everyone is just there like smiling, hugging each other. Like, there's no level of seriousness. And then when you look at Man City's training or Liverpool training, like, you can tell like they're working on something, like they're working on it on different system, like different tactics. Like, you can see the level of seriousness. Everyone is serious, sweating and stuff. So I think this is like probably where the issue of player mentality is coming from, because when you're not serious in training, like.
But you don't know for sure. Like, we don't have an all or nothing. I always wish we had one. We don't know for sure, man. We need it this season with Top B.
Bro, we did with Lukaku, man. That was all or nothing right there.
I wish we'd done an all or nothing when Lukaku was there. I would love to.
Oh my
I
god.
love it now, though. Honestly, I reckon Todd B is like
Oh,
Ted
the yellow
Lasso.
bus is it. Fucking hell, yellow
But
bus.
yeah, like I mean, sorry guys, just like what I was saying, like so like imagine like for example you're playing football like in secondary school and then like you have a coach that kind of like a very nice coach that likes you and stuff like that. So you don't really get to work hard like when you're in training, like you're just doing your thing. That is gonna affect you like when you get to real game. If you guys understand what I'm saying, like
Yeah,
because
definitely.
like
I
you
agree,
don't
bro.
you never
That's
put
why
that
we
you never put that hard work in training, so it's gonna definitely tell off when you're playing in the real game.
But
So I think
we can't really. That's one thing that we can't really speak on, right? Because we don't know what they're training like, right? We
yeah,
only see what we're seeing on the pitch, right?
Yeah,
So
we see snippets. They got snippets on YouTube, and it
no,
does
they
look
got
all
snippets.
happy.
I'm just saying like what
I
for
mean,
my
ironically enough, isn't there
for my
live training on right now?
Yeah, you can watch it, but it's snippets. It's not the full training.
No,
To
it's
be
not the
honest.
whole.
They do
Yeah, but
like
I'm not
walk
lying. I'm not
cut.
joking. When we see them on camera, we're not going to specifically see them like being upset and like they know they're on camera, so it's like they're going to be laughing and they're pretending to be all good. And do you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly, man.
like
Yeah.
I think that's something I do think Tuchel works on things. I don't think there's a case of not saying that. I think when you look at how well we played against Tottenham and the hybrid formation switch and how we played, that takes a lot in in training to be able to get people to understand when to switch, how when to know to switch in certain parts of games. Like, there's a lot to it that I think that is intricate. The problem with it is that I think it's so intricate that I don't think we sometimes have the players that are able to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Yeah, so that's why we will see that it doesn't work one week and looks great the other. Because it's just it's frustrating.
Bro,
It needs to have a certain amount of energy.
It's like reprogramming players, right? Like I bang on about this all the time, Jem, about like player mentality and instincts on the pitch. Like when you're on the pitch, you're relying on your instincts more so than and muscle memory more so than you are about like what you've done in training and whatnot. So it's almost like reprogramming these guys to learn. Like how many times have we seen Raheem Sterling make those runs off the ball to get in behind the last 3 games and not being
No one finds them.
Nobody.
I'm shocked J5 not finding him.
Werner used to do that shit and it used to kill me. Man was running in behind defenses for fun. No pass through the middle.
Gave up.
Poor guy, bro.
So mad as well.
And that's the worry. For me, that's part of the worry too, because like Raheem's making all these good runs and not being recognized. At some point, he's just going to stop making them. Because
that's why Kovacic being out hurts so much, bro.
Isn't it crazy though that we went to 2 finals and the semi-finals, and really we should have been to the finals? We should have beaten Madrid that day. Like, is that like as someone that travels to the games, I like Tuchel. Like you know what I'm saying? Most of the I was expecting not to get to any finals last season. I'm not even gonna lie. After like January times, I thought we were gonna start dipping away. We got to the FA Cup. We got unlucky there. If we won the FA Cup, would all of us be talking like this now? You know what I'm saying? If we won the penalties, we'd not.
No. I said the thing is,
is that a Tuchel issue though? Is that a Tuchel issue that we have in
the finals? No, they missed the penalties, man. I mean,
not the finals. I've just gone back a second because I was just thinking on what Couch was just saying just now about us not releasing the balls and stuff like that. If new forwards are coming to the team and we're having problems in feeding them, is that a Tuchel problem? Is that him specifically and he's Demar, or is it a specific profile player problem?
It's a player problem, in my opinion. Because it's like, let's say you bring the top 3 attackers in the world right now and put it up front for Chelsea. They are not receiving service. You can bring all you want up front. It's the service they're finding. And I feel like people keep saying, oh, not service, because we were top of the league in chances created. Chances created is one thing. Quality of chances being high is another.
True.
So you can have all the chances in the world, but if it's not certain clear-cut chances in behind, if we think about it, how many clear-cut in behind through balls do we get in the game? Not very
hardly
much.
any.
But wait,
it's always coming from a wing or coming from the centre backs.
Yeah,
it's true.
But this is what I'm saying. Look at what you're saying, bro. At a certain point in time, then the manager has to take responsibility. If you know that your midfield is not producing the creativity necessary for your attack to flow, you not doing anything makes you culpable by like literally association. It's not like Tuchel got here this year, looked at the midfield and was like, I got to do a job with it. Listen, Tuchel in his heart of heart knows he needs a 6. And that's just one midfielder. I'm not talking about the rest of the midfield. He knows he needs a 6. And on top of that, we need a better creative midfielder like a De Jong. He knows. It's why you see the people that he's going for and he's splashing the cash that he's splashing. But then what's happening at the end is it's starting to look a little bit like a panic buy because our original targets got swiped by Barcelona. So it's like as far
that's the problem.
I hear that, and I hear what you mean like in that case, because you can't see the problem and not go out in the market and target that as a priority. And for me, as much as I back Tuchel to the end, he's not from the way that it's looking. It doesn't look like he's really treating this.
What if the specific profile of player that he wants in midfield isn't in the market right now? What do? Do you just go and buy a player that doesn't give you that?
And this is what it is, Jim. There's going to be people out there that will just name names for the sake of naming names.
Facts.
Like, what if that specific profile is Declan Rice and he knows that he can't? I'm just saying now. What if that specific profile is someone that we can't get this?
I actually don't specific profiles in Madrid, bro. Chouameni, fam. He's gone.
Wait, really quick, just to address something someone said in the chat. They said even if you fix the midfield, it'll do nothing. The attack will still struggle to score. Half and half. Some of those attackers are listen. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some of those attackers are shit. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Shit is shit. But if you give that shit an infinite amount more chances, I guarantee you they're gonna put it in the net sometimes. Like, like listen, Werner for example against Real Madrid. Let's be honest, Werner should have walked out with 4 goals easily. But he's shit. Let's be honest. But he still got some goals because in that game against Real Madrid, our creativity was through the roof. We were creating through the midfield, through the wings, crossing. We were doing it all in that game. So all I'm saying is fix the midfield. It should at least get us some better goals.
I think Cucurella brings us creativity now off the left. If you don't mind speaking, I think he's very progressive. Like the way he plays. I think Reece James. I'm Gem. He ain't a Gem. I'm Gem. Yeah. I think Reece James, and I don't know if you heard what I said earlier. I get we play him in that fullback position, but we lose so much when he's not playing wingback. And I think when you have Cucurella and Reece James as your out and out wingbacks, I think that there is your creativity from the wing. Is your creativity from the wings, and then it's about sorting out the midfield. But we also need creativity in the forward line, and I think we haven't got that. And I think Mount isn't that. I think Mount can do it to a degree, but he's just not a player that can sustain the creativity that we need. So what is it then we have to look for in terms of profile? Well, the profile I would look for is kind of in a way that Sterling is, in being able to be direct and can dribble, but also has the ability to dribble and make something happen for people in the box, i.e. create for someone in the box.
Literally.
You know?
Well, you look at Zaha, you look at Leao. These are players that will do that. They're 2 players that I can name straight away.
What are you guys' thoughts on like Gordon? Like, is he the profile?
Yeah, go on, what was you saying, mate? I wanted to hear what you were saying.
Yeah, so, in terms of the game?
Yeah, just tell me overall your thoughts on what I was saying.
I mean, like, in terms of the game, like it was just, I think it was more about like just mentality and like no fight or desire in that game.
Yeah.
Like obviously, them outrunning us 10 kilometers, and then I'm seeing Tuchel saying in his press conference saying that it's not a problem because that's how Leeds play. But then I also remember that during Lampard, in the 2020-21 season when we played them at home, we actually ended up outrunning them and winning that game. And we showed a lot of passion and fight in that game. Whereas in this one, it was just like I don't think they could be bothered, honestly. You look at City as well, like you were saying earlier that they were losing 3-1 down, and then they come up, bring it 3-3. That's the type of things I want to see. Yeah, like even if you don't make it 3-3, like 3-2. I mean, as long as I see some sort of like fight. Yeah. Like I don't mind losing. We win some, lose some, but if you're just gonna go out and just give up, then what's the point? Just don't play in it.
I agree. I think the biggest issue with that, why I said I was so angry with that game, that we just think, all right, we lost and it was silly errors, but it's how you respond when you're down. You know, like how do you lose the game? If you're losing the game where you're just running around like headless chickens and hardly doing anything and creating nothing, and you know, like this was what we were doing. Like it was just no effort. I didn't feel there was much effort in the way that we played. I didn't see people like trying to take it by the scruff of the neck, get stuck in and try and they just fizz out of games, and that's not a good sign.
Yeah, it could have been 4-0.
Jem, you brought up something that like I think we need to realize for a bit when people talk about mentality is that why do we give away so many games? And I'm not just talking about Leeds or anything. I mean, there's so many games Chelsea are in the ascendancy, whether it be we just scored a goal or we have good patterns of play and we're putting pressure on the press. And then all of a sudden, we'll make a mistake of our own error. Mendy will slip it in, Jorginho back pass, hospital pass, some shit like that. And then you'll see the players' heads go. The Spurs game is a perfect example. Let's be honest. Bullshit refereeing. We're not going to go there. But when that call was incorrectly made, that's the true show of who has mentality and who doesn't. Guys, tighten up. They're going to take the corner. We need to defend the corner. It's irrelevant that they shouldn't be taking the corner. Get in fucking position and mark your man. But our Chelsea players, you see it very often. When things don't go our way, at least in a normal sense, their heads just go. And once their heads go, a lot of times they give up.
I don't know if that Spurs game is a good example of that, though, because I think that we've showed fight throughout most of that game. You know, that's not really a good example. I hear what you're saying, though. Like, I hear what you're saying.
I didn't say lack of fight. I said lack of mentality. We had fight in the Spurs game.
Okay, so the mentality of what? Their heads dropped at some point, so they were immature because they didn't win. They lost the corner battle.
Not losing the corner. Listen. Peep. During that game, a lot of calls were going the wrong way. Essentially, the refs got Spurs back in the game. That first goal against Havertz, you can debate it all you want. I'm not going to say anything. That is where you saw the players' heads sort of go out the window. They were like, what the there's no way they should have got the ball. From that point forward, you could see in the tactical battle with Conte and Tuchel that Tuchel was literally outclassing Conte. But towards the end of the game, players started losing their mentality, not their fight, because they were still going in for every 50-50, still going in for every ball. And in that one lapse of judgment, Kane equalizer, excuse me. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying they lacked any fight in that game. Okay. What I'm saying is a lot of the times they lose their heads. Yes.
Yeah, it's concentration. I hear that 100%.
We lack decisiveness as well, to be honest.
But isn't that indicative of being a young team, though? Like, I know we have veterans all over the pitch and stuff like that, but some of these errors that we're talking about, it's just like young players trying to pick their heads up again, right? Like, you look at, I don't know if we have the collective mentality, like when you look at the Chelsea teams of like even 2010, you know, like where everyone on the pitch is a leader. You know,
like you say the leader thing, but like, is that part of
level, right? Sorry, go ahead, man.
Yeah, like you said this like the leader thing, but like, do you think it's also a case of like because there's not enough leaders on the pitch, because we know that Aspie wasn't playing that day as well?
I think the biggest issue we have is we don't have a spine still. I look at it, we don't have.
I fully agree, bro.
Jem, we have a spine, but it's weak. We have a weak spine.
Why do you think Tuchel's doing Tuchel roulette? With every player,
every team has a spine.
No. But your spine. What I'm saying is, your spine always starts from the back, and when your goalie makes a mistake in a game like that, who you're supposed to rely on, and I agree with it. Yeah, it doesn't help. And when you look at the defense, I think Koulibaly and Silva is a spine. For my honest opinion, I think you can look at them too and say, yeah, even though they're on the older age. I think Mendy should be a spine from what we've seen him early in the season, but he's declining. He needs to change that quickly. You look at the midfield and people say, well, Jorginho's a leader. Yeah, he shouts and he does this, that, and the other. But I don't
no, sir, not me.
No. Not much more than that, man.
His ability is not. Yeah, exactly. His ability for me hinders the spine. It hinders the team a bit, in my opinion. You know, it doesn't. We're never how I think that Tuchel wants to play. If that makes sense, I have no issue with Jorginho. I don't. If he goes. If he stays on rotation basis. He shouldn't be starting games every fucking week. That's my issue with Jorginho. Yeah,
that's the problem.
I agree.
Look at Kante. Kante is not not someone that has them, you know, the leadership qualities. But in the game, when like we saw against Tottenham, when he has them games, when he plays like he's did, where he dominates it, him and himself creates this. He kind of links the spine just because of the way he can play. You know, so it's not the leader quality sometimes with Kane. It's how he plays when he's that good, like we saw against Spurs. That brings.
He
us,
leads
you
by
know,
example. He leads by
Yeah,
example.
he leads by example, exactly. And then you get to the forward line, none of them. We should be looking at Sterling to a degree as more of the
No,
experience.
Sterling's new though.
But there isn't any spine. Where's the drop? Where is the Drogba Lampard type of, you know, like where is that player in that team? I'm not
Where's
saying
the Fabregas Costa connection? Where's
Fabregas? Yeah, like,
Jesus?
where is that? And that's where we're losing.
Aubameyang. I'm hoping Aubameyang does it.
Obama who?
Kind of magic.
Obama what?
Obama.
You know what? I feel like people are also
we'll
downplaying the impact of what Aubameyang's going to come into this team and do, because he in himself is, in my opinion, okay, cool. Havertz has all the dribbling ability that you can ask for in the world.
Not really.
But I think in Spurs he showed something really cool. He was beating players, and that's something you don't see a lot from the strikers up front. The only time we started to see that recently was Raheem Sterling. But other than that, I trust. I don't even know. I trust a baby finishing my food before I trust Kai Havertz.
No, that's based on what you said. Can I ask you something? Who do you think our best finishing forward is? And if you say Sterling, you're already wrong.
So
Our best finishing forward.
That's such a loaded question, man. What if the man said Sterling?
So loaded, bro.
No.
It's not loaded at all. Who do you think is our best finishing forward?
Our best finisher is a wing back, and his name's Reece James.
Yeah.
Forward, Jam. Forward.
I'm going to come out with a name right now. It's
I feel
Young
like it's
Broja.
Pulisic, but like it's not for me. It's still
It's
Sterling.
Broha, isn't it? I bet it's Broha out of everyone.
According to the stats, it is actually Pulisic. I just wanted to see what you guys thought.
Normally, times I've seen that guy get a goal and fall. He not even.
Whoa! This isn't. You guys are.
Hey, protect
why are you
your
attacking me? I didn't say put Pulisic. I didn't say start Pulisic or anything. I just asked you a question. Who do you think our best finishing forward was?
I've got some breaking news for you guys. Mateo
this.
Kovacic was at training today, and it's a huge boost. He's fit for the weekend.
Praise God!
Goodness.
I would have been surprised if he walked down the tunnel and
man like cover.
He's probably going to get injured in that game as well.
Yeah.
I got a question.
We need him regardless.
Sorry, guys. I got a question about this game. Anyone can answer. I'm just trying to figure out, what do you think that back three is going to look like if we play back three with Koulibaly out,
Cucurella, Silva, and
Cucurella, Silva, and Reece James? That's a
Wait,
solid.
Who's the next game?
Probably.
Who's the next game? Leicester.
Oh, Fann's going to come in against his former team.
Nah, bro.
Very funny.
Let me just say straight now: if we lose to Leicester at home, we are shit because they are shocking.
Yeah, they're
shocking. I'm not even joking, and I'm not even being reactionary. If we lose to Leicester, then we, like Liverpool, have a problem. Like a serious, genuine. We need to stop the bullshit. We all need to sit down and have a talk. We have a problem. There's no. Losing to Leeds, I can accept because I don't think Leeds are going to be bottom of the table this year. I actually think they'll get right around mid-table, like 10 to 12. But losing to Leicester, who I think, in my humble opinion, are finishing 17th, like that low, nah, it's unacceptable. We're also supposed to be taking Fofana as well. They're losing players left and right. Tillemans might go to Arsenal. Listen, if we lose to Leicester, is that at home?
Yeah, we're at home. We're at home. John Terry's come out with a funny tweet. To be
fair. If we lose at home, we'll talk about that.
What's man like JT saying?
How good is Graham Potter? I love how Brighton play, and he has to be one of the best young managers around. Tick every box for me. That's a bit of a interesting comment. Maybe he's trying to force him for the England job or something. I don't know.
Yeah, England job. That's what I think.
John Terry's a weird character, bro. But can I pose a question about this whole the backline situation? Let's say if we don't go for Cucurella, Cucurella, Silva, and Reece James, right? And I am opting for Reece James to be on the wing. don't you feel like Harvey Barnes is going to rip Aspie a new one if he's at right centre back? So
is this
what are the
Chalobah
options?
out of the mix? Is this Chalobah out of the
Chalaba's
mix?
head's not here, bruv. Chalaba's head.
Yeah, Chalobah's gone. Chalobah's
on
gone.
the way, bruv. Out somewhere else.
Oh,
Another
snap.
club, bruv. He's not here right now. So for me,
And
He'll be back.
and like for fans that think Aspie is going to do a good job against pacey forward, have you not learned this lesson yet? Like, have you not learned this lesson?
No. Listen. It's not isolating Aspie. Like, tactically, what happens if you see a lot of the times we start Aspie at center back, he instructs Reece James to sit a little bit further back to help along the wings. And furthermore, if we had a DM, that's a separate conversation, but we don't. So I'm not even going to bring it up. But he usually instructs Reece James to help cover Aspie on the wing, and he has Silva tighten in through the middle to help him on the central cut.
It's what I like to call, and I know Matt's gonna hate this. It's what I call the Georgie effect, when you need bare support around you. Literally, Aspie plays at right centre back. So what you therefore doing? You're stifling the creativity of Reece James, which basically what's the point of him being on the right wing if he has to support somebody next to him? And you got Silva in the middle, where Silva likes to sometimes progress the ball. Forget that, because he has to support Aspie better, which stops those through balls from centre back, which people underrate. Silva, when Silva plays that through ball or that over the top through ball from the centre back up to the forwards, that does something for us sometimes. You take that out, what's the point? At that point, we already silenced. We're already. What is there?
He's like,
what about starting Ethan Ampadu?
Ampadu is
right center back. Yeah.
You guys have to look at the transfer news because Ampadu is supposed to be being sent out on loan to Serie A. Chalobah's supposed to go
just
on
saying
loan.
if he's still here, you know, like.
No, they are. They all are. Marcos Alonso's here, but you see, he's not playing them because once a player mentally is not thinking about the club, you are an idiot as a manager if you employ him and rely on him in games. And so I'm not going to get mad if Aspie gets cooked this weekend, because the reality is people are going to go, why didn't he play Chalobah? But when we played Chalobah in the last 5 games, including in the finals, we know what happened. So that's all I have to say is, like, you know, I mean, to me, Chalobah just needs time. Like, I think Chalobah needs a loan spell, you know, proper development. But for everything else, it's like, we have to notice where we are, guys. Like, we lost 2 incredibly good center backs.
It's needs must. I'm not talking about whether or not I feel like Chalobah is, you know, the answer at the right center back. I'm just saying it's needs must right now. If I had my choice between Azpilicueta and Chalobah in a game that you're worried about pace.
Oh, I'm putting Chalobah. I'm putting Chalobah every time.
It's not because I feel like Chalobah is the answer, like I said before, but like you're going down your depth chart right now. You know, it's the same thing how we saw Gallagher in the midfield. Like, you're going down your depth chart. You're looking for the next player up. You know, so that's it for me.
Can I put the question?
1 second, Jay. 1 second. Dinishan with the super chat says Tuchel does not coach attack. He needs direct players who does not need coaching, such as Neymar, Di Maria, Mbappe, Sterling, Aubameyang, and Leao suit him. So he's saying there, specifically what he's saying, is that he needs to have a specific profile of player to get the best out of the system that he likes to play.
I can't understand.
He can't coach players, is what Dinishan.
No.
I don't think he means it like that. I think he means he needs players that can actually drive with the ball and not just pass sideways, like Pulisic and.
Here's. You guys hear this argument and tell me if it doesn't sound asinine to you. People say he doesn't coach attackers, as in he doesn't teach forwards who are getting paid the type of money your entire generation will never see to just dribble a ball forward. So you can't tell me that it's on Tuchel to teach these MFers how to dribble a ball, and in some cases put an empty net, a literal empty net. Havertz against Spurs, empty net. No goalie to the wrong side, and he missed the fucking shot. So I can't hear that Tuchel, like, if you see these on the regular, which our attacking play has been shit since 2018, I can't. I respect to the
but he's not saying it like that. He wasn't saying it like that. He wasn't saying like that. What he meant was, it's like in fighting. There's some coaches where they just coach former champions and champions. They don't make someone from the bottom to top. That's too short. He wants someone that's already
Already
good, someone that believes in himself, someone that actually thinks they're the best in the world. And Aubameyang is an arrogant prick, so he might just be the right guy.
Like Holland.
You know what I think it is?
Actually? Dinesh, I understand. My bad. I thought you were saying it like that.
You know what I actually think it is? I don't think that's he doesn't coach the attackers. He coaches areas where we need to exploit the defenders. So, like, if you look at that Spurs game, he actually said it in the pre-match too. He's talking about like we're working on what areas we can exploit them in and whatnot, and that's what we're working on in training. So it's not like he doesn't coach attackers where they need to be. What he will not coach is, okay, you're 1v1. This is what you need to do. Okay, you're 1v. Okay, there's a man in the box right now. You need to pass it here, and instead, like, that's not what he's going to do. He wants his attackers to be intelligent enough and clever enough on the ball to make their own decisions when they're in those positions.
Yeah, Dinesh just said, he said, look at Neymar's final passing.
Yeah, like, he's been saying this since he came. Like, his philosophy is his philosophy on how to teach strikers. He says, I'll teach you everything before, but you write your own song when you're in that final third. You play your own tune.
It should be like that. It should be like that.
Yeah.
Like, because
in my humble opinion.
And I totally back him on that. But then the problem is,
listen, this is all opinions, and every manager has a different theory of a different way. If this is Tuchel's way, he wants someone that's already an OG, so he could do it for him. If he doesn't want to make a little young guy, then you know what I'm saying, let him bring Aubameyang and let him down his sword. You know, do we not all follow Tuchel?
Tuchel wants you. He wants
an
OG.
Not all Tuchel. He took me to Portugal, fam. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. I'm grateful to the guy.
Like me.
I do. Interestingly enough, philosophy does breed like certain type of managerial strengths, though. Like, for example, like, it's clear Tuchel, like, we don't even need to talk about this. It's clear his specialty is defense. It doesn't mean he neglects the other areas of the pitch, but it does mean that is his specialty. You can see that he has trained defenders, Rudiger, for example, from nobody to somebody in literally less than a year. Like, think about it. Remember the fan base? The fan base used to kill Rudiger. That's like
Maguire. Almost like a Maguire to us.
No. He deserved criticism. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying it's like the Chelsea fan base sometimes forgets. Similar to like with Klopp. I think Klopp has a specialty for attackers. I really do. And with Pep, I think things that go really, really, really under the radar with Pep is Pep coaches that midfield like a monster, and people don't realize it. That's why he has so much control over games. That's why he kills people off like that.
I hate it when Chelsea fans do this. I really do. This is the one thing that I do not like, is when we sit here and go, if all our problems were now solved because Lukaku left. No one said that if we just get rid of Lukaku that we were going to win the league. We stop doing this. This is a very small-minded way to think. Like, that's nothing to do with that. Lukaku's mentality, everything about Lukaku in what he was in that first season was shite. There's not trying that like it. It's like, I mean, like, let's not go there.
It's like that too, because then somebody else said, "Oh, we leaking goals made every game. What are you on about? We're leaking goals because of our midfield, bro. Do you watch the game? Like, it's not. Listen. Genuinely, just hear me out on this. Even with the 5 goals we shipped from Spurs all the way over to Leeds, when did you see, other than Koulibaly getting spun for that 1 goal against Leeds, when did you see a defensive mistake or error that wasn't from the goalkeeper? When did you see the defense being out of position or just not doing what they needed to do to cover up ground when a counterattack was happening? 9 out of 10 times when Chelsea had... Wait, the third... You talking about the set piece goal?
No, I'm talking about the 3rd goal when Silva went out to mark the ball on the right.
Cover,
Okay.
Reece James was supposed to fill in that gap, and he basically just let him ghost by him, and that's how Harrison scored.
And that's fair. But at that 3rd goal, there's something else that was going on. As in, we already gave up. But, because let's be real. By the time that 2nd goal went in, from the front of the pitch to the back of the pitch, we were shit. The game was gone. So I'm not going to say, oh, you're right, though. That was a defensive error. But I'm just saying, like, with context, it wasn't like that was the first goal conceded, or similar with the Spurs situation. It wasn't like we were conceding goals due to defensive errors, except on the floor, which happened to what? Mentality. A lot of the times I'm just saying is, there's 2 main issues with this team. We need better mentality, and we need to start filling up these gaps all over the pitch. Otherwise, I don't see how you guys think we can compete for a title, even if he spends 600 mil this year. Just being honest.
Do you know what? The thing is, right, and I've been saying this from the Tottenham preview, which I was very much surprised and proven wrong for like a moment until the very next game. When I kept saying this on the previews, I was like, you have somebody that needs too much support in midfield. In Leeds, you could see it was like the team couldn't drop back as fast as possible. When you have Jorginho, I don't even know if that's walking. I don't know what that is. Well, on transition, this guy is stuck in the mud. Like he just can't catch up, and that's not his fault. But I feel like when you look at the options, how much better do we have? It's just an issue. And I feel like with the unreliable main choices we have in that midfield, we're going to run into this problem again and again and again. When you're forced to play Conor Gallagher's and Ruben Loftus-Cheek as pivot players.
Wait, and then once again, and this is being objective, whose fault is that now? Because a lot of times I see Jorginho get skipped, and personally, I really dislike Jorginho in this current point in time. I do want him to leave. Like, I just want to be very clear. I don't want you guys to think I have agenda, to be honest. I dislike J5 heavily. However, if I know J5's deficiencies, and I keep putting him in a place to make those deficiencies literally the limelight, how am I going to get upset at Jorginho? If I know Jorginho, if he gets counter-pressed, he's going to give away the ball in dangerous areas. Why am I going to put Jorginho at the spine of the fucking pivot to concede those chances? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's my only criticism of Tuchel. If you know your midfield is shit, if you know your starting midfield gets injured too much, why do you not get another midfielder?
You know what it is? I think
what was database saying? The database is saying something. I want to hear him.
Yeah. So, what type of midfield do you think that we need? Because obviously, I don't think Tuchel actually.
We need another Kante. We need that Brighton brother. What's his name? Moises
Caicedo.
People don't want to hear this. You can keep Jorginho in this team. You can genuinely.
I know what Jorginho is. Jorginho is an Italian boss. Italian bosses, they expect the little kid to do all the work.
I think we need.
That's Kante. Kante will do all the work.
I think we need 3 Jorginhos. I think we'll be all right then.
What are you smoking?
3 Jorginhos.
Can you imagine?
We're getting relegated then after that.
We playing
I
just play one deep. Play one. All you got to do is just play one deeper than the other, and then you won't get caught out.
Yeah.
Just play offside chops with them, man. That's what you gotta do.
This is giving me bad mental health, bro. This is declining mental health, bro.
Guys, I have got to finish it off though. Hour and 52 minutes in. Big up to every single one of you guys on DNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Make sure you're subscribing to both of these channels as well. Smash the like button as well if you can. Leave a comment below as well. Check out all these guys and check out Couch Critic on his YouTube channel, which is Couch Critic. It's his name, as long as you haven't changed it. You haven't changed it.
No, it's still the same. Thanks for the show.
Smash them likes, people. Smash them likes.
You can find Kelly on GNA TV because that's where you can find Kelly. He's always at GNA TV. That's where he is most time.
You find me on Twitter, worst case, but I would rather you not. You have my Twitter, Joe. I just don't say it because that's my real name.
Yeah, I won't expose you. Don't worry. True Chelsea. Where can people find you? Because you've got a channel, you as well.
Yeah. Just on True Chelsea FC.
So check out True Chelsea FC on YouTube and go and subscribe to him as well and follow him. Follow CFC OG on his channel as well. Where can they find you, mate?
It's literally CFCOG on Twitter and Instagram is CFCOGW6. Where are you from, Jen? You from W6, SW6 area?
No, I'm in Essex at the moment, mate.
You're nice, bro. You're living nice, fam. You moved out the end.
I live in the nice ends. I live in the forest. Yeah, that's where I live.
He lives in the burbs, man. The good part.
Yeah, I live in the burbs.
Suburb.
I live with the birds. Jay, you can find him at JCFC11 on Twitter. So make sure you check him out. Chelsea Database as well. Go and check out Chelsea Database on Twitter. It's literally his name as well. CFC Giddy, have you got any socials or anything going?
Nah, I don't got a plug, bro. But I'm here. You'll find me.
You can find CFC Giddy here. You can find Hassan probably in like every space on Twitter because he's always in every space. I don't think he works.
I just listen to everything, man. You always see me out and about Chelsea related, man. So yeah.
Yeah, big up to everyone. We'll be back. We've got the weekend, Leicester, isn't it? Saturday. So we'll be back for a preview show at some point. More transfer news. Hopefully Chelsea sign someone. You know, we've been saying it for the last 2-3 weeks. We might sign someone else. You know, so hopefully we'll sign someone that we can talk about and discuss about as well. We've still got to do a transfer review show where we talk about the overall transfers and how, you know, the players we picked, how they fit, and all that. Is it a successful window? Is it
end of the window though?
Yeah, all of that still to come as well. We're going to go back to debate shows. We might even do agenda shows as well now. Agenda, Chelsea agenda.
I mean,
well.
yeah, a nice debate style Gordon transfer. That's a nice one.
I want to be the king, the leader, the representative for the J5 Agenda Club.
Anyone got anyone? We'll just put Con in for you, innit? You, Jay versus Con on the J5 Agenda show. On that one. You know what I mean?
Quick final question I got for you. If we don't get anybody in by the end of this window, are you concerned for top 4?
We're winning the fucking league. Let's go up the Chelsea. Let's go.
Now we're Arsenal fans. Hey, we're winning the league. Woo! We're top of the league in October. Woo!